It's been nearly 5 years since I uploaded my first video onto YouTube, and I want to take some time today to look back over these years and talk about my experience doing all of this. But first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you who watch my content. It really does make this worthwhile when I know that I am making videos for an audience who share the same interest in drawing and being creative. And I've always enjoyed drawing, and this YouTube channel has given me an opportunity to document my progression as an artist and share what I learn with you. 5 years is a long time. I mean, I'm 25 now, so I'd have been around 20 when I uploaded that first video, which, for those that are wondering, was this drawing time lapse. I remember when I first decided to record myself drawing and make this video. Prior to that, I had been spending a lot of time trying to improve my drawings, and I was at a point where I had enough confidence to want to put myself out there. I bought this cheap webcam to record myself, and in order to achieve that top-down view, I made what was like a wooden trestle at the college I went to at the time and placed this over my paper. Then I could connect the webcam to it from different angles. And I didn't have a dedicated space for making videos yet, and so I would have to set this up at the kitchen table every time I wanted to do some drawing. So I made this drawing time-lapse video that I posted onto YouTube as well as Facebook, and of course at that time I didn't have an audience on YouTube at all, so the video performed better on Facebook because my family and friends were sharing it, saying, you know, this is really good. All of the usual compliments which fed my ego, and so I decided to make another drawing time-lapse video, but for this one I wanted to create a bigger drawing. So I made this video, which took a long time to do, but somehow I managed to involve it into one of the projects I was doing for my art course, which for me worked well because I was doing the work that I needed to do for college, but I was also doing the work that I wanted to do anyways. I posted this video a few months later, and from that point on, I was making a lot of time-lapse videos drawing all of these realistic images. I was very much into realistic drawing at that time. I remember seeing some artists' work online and instantly being amazed at how photorealistic it was. I wanted to get my art to that level, and so I started to take my drawing seriously and work on my art each day. It was around this time when I started to consider making more videos on YouTube. I always imagined having a YouTube channel with an audience, and well, it's hard to get that because there's a lot of people trying to do that, but I just told myself that, you know, you enjoy making these videos, you're going to be making them anyways, you may as well upload them, and if a handful of people watch them, then that's something, right? That's better than nothing. And I remember checking how many subscribers I had each morning, and 2 people could have subscribed and that would have made my day. When I had started attending university, it became harder to find the time to make videos because I was studying architecture, which some of you will know involves a lot of time and energy. I would spend most days in lectures and at the studio there, and then come home to work on YouTube and my art in the evenings. I had a lot of work to do and I needed a better space to work in, so we decided to clear out some of the space in the loft of the house. Now, some of you will remember the videos that were made in there. I'm sure if you go back on the channel you'll see some of them. It wasn't the most ideal space, but it was better than nothing and I appreciated having it. It was so small you could only just fit the desk in there, and in order to get behind the desk I had to crawl under it first, but I have a lot of fond memories making videos in there. Also, I forgot to mention that I had sold some drawings and saved up enough money to buy a DSLR camera, which not only improved the quality of my videos, but it also gave me an incentive to approach YouTube seriously. I had bought this DSLR camera, a Canon 70D, which I still use today. But those cameras are like £800, which is a lot of money, especially for me back then, and so if I was going to invest into this YouTube channel and buy this camera, then I had to be serious about it. And so I started to treat YouTube as if it was my job. I would do the work that needed doing for my architecture course, and then I would spend all of my free time making videos. I started making more instructional content, passing on what I had learned from my own experience. I aimed to upload once a week, and for the longest time, I think it was for around a year or two, I was making videos and nobody was watching them apart from my family and a few friends. But nonetheless, I was really enjoying doing it and I just continued making them. I would say that I was quite obsessive, like I would always be thinking about making videos, and if I wasn't thinking about that, then it was because I had to focus on the work that needed to be done for university. It was after I had finished my first year at university, but before I had started my second year, when a video of mine started to gain a lot of traction. It was a video on how to get better at drawing, in which I gave a few tips, sharing what I had learned from my experience as an artist. And I remember that day because I was with a mate of mine and my phone kept notifying me that people had commented on my video, and it was way more than what was normal for me. And I was so excited because I had been doing it for so long. I think at this point I had around 1,000 subscribers, which I was happy with, but because this video somehow started to gain a lot of views, my subscribers increased a lot, and from that point on my videos would perform a lot better. So a few months on, I went back to university for my second year, and again I was making videos in the evenings. I would also wake up early to spend some time working on everything before going to university. I also started to monetize my videos, which meant I was earning some money, and YouTube was actually a job for me. I think what's worth mentioning is that around this time I started to develop more as an artist, and this is probably because I had this responsibility to create content on the subject of drawing for what was slowly becoming a larger audience. And whilst a lot of people were subscribing for the content I made on the subject of realistic drawing, I personally was becoming less interested in that subject. I think for me, drawing is engaging because there's always more to learn. You are always improving. But I was at a point where, because I had been focusing on creating these realistic drawings for so long, I wasn't learning anything that was new, and I started to find that process less enjoyable and more of a chore. I still found the time and enjoyed creating realistic drawings, but I remember back then I really wanted some variation. And I guess I was left to make a decision. Did I want to continue making videos on the subject of realistic drawing, a style of drawing that was gradually becoming more mundane to me, or did I want to start covering new aspects involved in the subject of drawing with the risk of making content that my audience didn't subscribe for? Well, I decided to keep on making videos surrounding realistic drawing, but gradually I began making some videos on perspective drawing, something that I started to develop more of an interest for. I think it's clear to see when an artist or a YouTuber is stuck in this cycle of making content that is also similar in nature. Like, they find something that works and they stick with it, which can be a beneficial approach, but what's the saying? Don't beat a dead horse. You know, their videos can run the risk of being repetitive and uninspired. I've had to make many decisions over these years when it comes to what content do I want to make, and there is always this consideration for how many views a video will get. More views equals more money, right? That's why misleading titles and clickbait thumbnails exist, and the reality is, you have to play the game to some extent to even get your videos out there and recommended, but when a creator does this too much, I think that it can disparage their reputation. I'm saying all of this because I've always made a conscious effort to try and approach this YouTube channel the same way as I did when I started, before I even had an audience, when how many views will this get didn't dictate any of my decisions. And my intention for how I view this YouTube channel has never changed. It's always been a place where I can document my own progress as an artist and share what I learn with you. I graduated from university just over a year ago and decided to take some time to only do YouTube. And over that time I had started my Patreon page where I produce additional content that people can access by paying a monthly subscription. There's different tiers which let you access different content, like for the $1 tier I create these study documents and process papers which are essentially drawing tutorials on paper, and then for the $5 tier I create some additional perspective drawing and realistic drawing tutorials. I also have an $8 tier which currently gives you early access to these videos, but I'm also intending on doing something else with this one. I'm not just promoting my Patreon page here, by the way, even though I kind of am. I'm just giving some context because all of this is relevant to what I was discussing a moment ago. It had taken me a while to make a Patreon page because obviously I didn't want to make one and not have the time to create content for it, which did happen when I started one without giving it too much thought when I was at university. quality. I ended up closing that one down for when I was in a better position to make one. But Patreon is a great platform because it can be another form of income for people, and in terms of being a YouTuber, it means you are not depending only on YouTube as an income, and that's why Patreon is great. I mean, my page is growing at a steady pace, but some artists and creators earn a lot of money on there from people who want to support what they do. So a lot has happened in these 5 years since I first made that video and uploaded it onto YouTube, and now I want to conclude this video by giving some advice to anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel themselves or make some form of an income doing something that they love to do, no matter what that is. And I think it's important for me to state that there is some luck involved. As I said earlier, it was a video of mine that happened to go viral, and from that point forward, I had an audience that was growing with each video. But here's the thing, that wouldn't have happened if I had decided to quit early on. I mean, I was making videos for over a year and nobody was watching, but I continued to do it because I enjoyed doing it. And I think that's where many people go wrong. They start a YouTube channel with the intention of making money, and because they don't see those results for a long time, they eventually quit and move on. It's the people who stick with it who eventually get somewhere, and it's a lot easier to do that if you are doing something you enjoy doing and would be doing anyways, regardless of money. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this video here. If you enjoyed this, then please leave a like, and if you have any questions, then you're in luck because I'm going to be doing a Q&A soon, so leave your questions in the comments down below and I may answer them in that video. But thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the content I create, then do consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will gain access to exclusive tutorials, study documents, process papers, real-time drawing footage and more. Plus, you will also be supporting me in a more personal way. Other than that, thank you for watching this video and I'll see you soon.